Nick, I think the story here is how this is being relayed to Vogel. Woj right, a decision expected to be shared with him on Monday?
Yep.
And then you put poor Frank Vogel, after Mac McClung's great dunk, they get a win, and he's like, he's not a guy to like swear in press conferences. So I thought that this is just another indication of how poorly the Lakers are being run. You can't even fire your coach correctly. And it's not just your old buddy Kevin Wildes. It's LeBron James, when he had the mic after winning the bubble championship, said he wanted his respect. He wants respect for Rob, and Frank wants his respect too. Not in that order. He wanted respect too. But the whole idea was that no one respected Frank Vogel, and now they're firing him. They're telling Woj before him. I think it's just a disaster in poor form.
Listen, I think the Lakers are a poorly run franchise. They're a poorly managed franchise. There's no argument around that. I agree that Pelinka is a bigger problem than Vogel. But, of course, Broussard firing Frank Vogel won't hurt things, should help things. In the Woj story, Brew, they mentioned the Lakers were the only team in the league to not have a single five-man lineup play 100 minutes together. Yes, some of that's injuries, and some of that's Frank Vogel making some lineup decisions by picking names out of the hat. Did you know that as of this moment, and the season is over, DeAndre Jordan started the 8th most games for the Lakers this year? Think about that for a moment. Only 7 guys started more games than a fossilized player who's been gone for 3 months. That's a decision Vogel made. So, no, I don't think Vogel did a good job. I do think that everyone should be on notice surrounding the Lakers, with the possible exceptions of LeBron and AD. But AD is probably on a bit of notice as well himself. That you cannot have the most disappointing season in franchise history and then be like, well, you know, we're going to run it back. And I'm going to say one other thing if people want to defend Vogel. If you're saying firing Vogel won't change anything, then I think what you're saying is coaching doesn't matter. Because Taylor Jenkins and Ty Lue and J.B. Bickerstaff and Ime Udoka and Jason Kidd and Nick Nurse are all showing this year really good coaching can matter. And I think it's fair to say at the very least the Lakers did not have really good coaching this year.
Well, look, I agree with you, Nick, that it won't hurt. Losing Frank Vogel's not going to hurt them. But I don't think, like, Frank Vogel's a good coach. All right, he did an excellent job years ago in Indiana. Now, he struggled in Orlando. We all know that. But excellent job in Indiana. And then led the Lakers to a championship. He's not a bad coach. This was not all his fault. I don't think it makes much of a difference. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. All right, that doesn't mean I don't think it should have been done. Like you said, sometimes you just need a fresh start. All right, he may get a job somewhere else. We'll see down the line. But I'm fine with them moving on from him. But whoever they bring in, a Juwan Howard or Mike Brown, whoever it may be, they got a lot more work to do. I think Rob Pelinka's staying around. I think he's going to remain in his position in the front office. So their 3 top priorities need to be, number 1, trade Russell Westbrook. And I don't care if it's for pennies on the dollar.
Where?
You got to get Westbrook out of there. There'll be places to trade him. For that contract, Indiana, for one, might want him. There'll be people will take on that contract to get off of it after next season. Secondly, get AD a new training program. All right, get him he's got to get a personal trainer. He needs somebody around him 24/7 like LeBron has. And he should work with LeBron. He should work out with LeBron. All right, they're friends. They're both clutch. LeBron wants him to be healthy. And then the third priority, and this could be with the Westbrook trade, you got to get some youth, some athleticism, and some shooters to put around LeBron and AD. Those are their priorities. It's fine to get rid of Vogel, Nick, but I don't think he was the main problem. And, if they don't get fix the other things, then whoever's coaching is going to have his issues.
But we've gone through this trade Russ thing before. There's nothing out there. The idea that there's this great deal waiting for Russell Westbrook's contract, I just don't buy it. Nick, maybe you see something that I don't, but it was like a 1-for-1 for John Wall, and the thing that came up was a 1-for-1 for John Wall. Now, you're saying if you include a pick, that future pick, that it's what? If the Lakers are any good, is like in the 20s, the people are salivating over that pick. I just don't believe it. I wouldn't be shocked if they have to do something other than trade Russell Westbrook. I don't think there's going to be good news. We traded Russell Westbrook for 3-and-D guys and a bunch of like young athletic players.
No, I don't think they're going to get
a team would do that.
Wildes. I don't think they're going to get a great package for him. And Brew, obviously, Russ's value is at an all-time low. However, Russell Westbrook, 2 trades ago, was traded for Chris Paul, and the team that traded Chris Paul, the Rockets, had to give up picks in it. Now, that was a disastrous move by them, but it happened. And Russell Westbrook, just 9 months ago, was traded for role players that now everybody loves. In Kyle Kuzma and KCP, they're like, oh my God. So that trade literally just happened. That's fine, but I don't disagree with that. But I think you're wrong, Wildes, if you think it will be impossible to trade Russ. I think, Brew, tell me if I'm misquoting you here, Brew. The reason it is so different now than a few months ago is because now somebody might be foolish and want to trade for Russ, the player. But I think a lot of teams, or a handful of teams, will want to trade for Russ, the contractual object, if you will. The mechanism that it allows, which is he has $47 million for this year and then $0 for all future years. And because of that, if you have guys on contract you're trying to get off of, the Russ is an attractive way to do that. Am I reading that correctly, Brew?
That's exactly right. And Wildes, look, one thing I've learned from decades of covering the league, nobody's untradeable. We might think that, but I've learned nobody is untradeable. Westbrook's been traded 3 times to Houston, to Washington, to the Lakers.
John Wall's untradeable.
With $100 million or more than $100 million left on his contract. And so now Nick's right. Nobody's looking at him saying he's our guy. He's going to lead us to the promised land. But they are saying when we walk away from that $50 million a year from now, we're going to be in good shape. Because we're not going anywhere next year anyway. Those are the types of teams that will look at a Russell Westbrook.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.